Far beyond the harbor's edge, where waves whispered secrets only gulls could hear, there lived a boy named Kian. He was small for his age, always smelling faintly of salt and pencil shavings. And he spent his days helping his grandfather tend the lighthouse on the cliffs. Every evening, after lighting the great lamp, Kian would lean over the rail and whisper into the sea, "Good night." The water always answered with a sigh. His grandfather said that was just the wind, but Kian knew better. The ocean remembered things. One night, the tide fell lower than ever before. Rocks glistened like black glass, and the air smelled of rain and adventure. "Go on then," said Grandad with a grin. "See what the tide forgot." So Kian followed the receding waves across the shimmering sand. Tide pools reflected the stars. Seaweed wrapped around his ankles like ribbons. A small voice bubbled up from a shell. "Careful where you step, this shore remembers everything." Kian blinked. Who said that? A seal popped her head from a pool, eyes grey and kind. "The shore did, but it's shy." "I'm Mara. You're the lighthouse boy." Kian nodded. "Do you know where the sea keeps its stories?" "Of course," she said, whiskers twitching. "Follow me. But you'll have to listen, not just look." They swam through a tunnel of coral and light until they reached a cave glowing faint blue. Inside were hundreds of glass jars resting on rocky shelves. Each jar flickered with soft light and murmured softly, like a voice speaking in its sleep. "The Tidal Library," Mara said proudly. "Every story the ocean wants to remember is kept here." Kian's mouth fell open. "Can I read one?" "You may," said a tiny hermit crab with a shell shaped like a spiral staircase. "But be gentle. Some memories are fragile." Kian reached for a jar labeled Whale's First Song. As he uncorked it, the air filled with deep, rolling notes, the sound of whales learning to sing. The cave itself seemed to breathe in time with the melody. When the song ended, Kian's chest felt warm and heavy, like he'd swallowed part of the ocean's heart. He opened another. Inside shimmered a fishing boat in a storm, and voices shouting in bravery and fear. Then another lullaby hummed by a mother on a foggy pier. But one jar caught his eye. It sat alone, dim and dusty, its label half-peeled, unreturned. "What's this one?" he asked. Mara's smile faded, a story that lost its ending. It was borrowed once, but never brought back. Kian brushed the dust away and peered inside. Faint images, flickered waves, crashing against a dark lighthouse, a broken light, a boy calling out into the night. "That's our lighthouse," he whispered. The hermit crab nodded. "When the great storm came last winter, the heart light went out. The sea remembers the night, but not how it ended. The story needs its missing page." Kian thought of Grandad sitting in the dark that night, holding a silent radio and waiting for the lamp to glow again. He took a breath and uncorked the jar. "Then I'll return the ending." He dipped his finger into the jar's glow. It felt cool, like moonlight. "On the night the light went out," he said softly, "the village lit hundreds of little lamps. They lined the shore so the ships would still see home. And when the storm passed, the lighthouse shone again, brighter than before." As he spoke, the jar brightened until it blazed silver. The hermit crab clapped its tiny claws, returned. The light from the jar rose, spreading through the shelves, waking the other stories. Jars pulsed like stars underwater. The whole cave shimmered alive. Mara smiled. "You fixed it. The sea loves endings full of kindness." Kian grinned. "Maybe stories just need someone to listen, like the ocean does." He swam back through the coral tunnel, the glow following behind him like drifting lanterns. By the time he reached shore, dawn was rising. His boots filled with sand, and the tide was climbing back home. When he returned to the lighthouse, Grandad was polishing the lens. Find anything out there?" he asked. Kian smiled. "Just stories the sea forgot. But I helped it remember." Grandad raised an eyebrow. "Then maybe you've got a bit of the lighthouse in you, after all." That night, as Kian lay in bed, he heard the ocean whisper against the rocks. Beneath the usual rhythm of waves was something new, a melody, like a soft thank you. He smiled in the dark. Maybe he hadn't only helped the sea remember. Maybe it had remembered him. And deep below, in the glowing cave of the Tidal Library, one new jar shimmered quietly on a high shelf. Its label read, "Kian," and the night the ocean spoke.